All right, working on the wife's 2001 Mustang with the 3.8 V6, P0171 System Lean Bank 1. So a little bit of history. This car had a dead miss on cylinder 5 a couple years back. I threw a tune-up at it. Still dead miss. Found out it was the injector. I pinpointed it with a stethoscope. I just stethoscoped the injectors. One wasn't ticking, so I threw an injector in it, fixed that misfire. I just did one though, and then through some research, I should have probably done all 6. I did buy 6 fuel injectors for this car from offline. I think it was $200 or $180 some shipped. I think it was $200 with the tax and shipping, to be honest with you, for 6 injectors. So I'm going to check for a vacuum leak. I don't think that's it, because a vacuum leak should say System Lean Bank 1 and 2. Like the whole system would be sucking air and be lean. I suspect one of the injectors of Bank 1 isn't delivering enough fuel based off the prior injector failure. And I also replaced the 2 upstream oxygen sensors last year, I believe it was. That was fun. I think I did a video where I was doing an exhaust manifold stud. I broke a stud on that job. And whenever I did that video, that's when I did the oxygen sensors. I think it was last year. So, yeah, we're going to put 6 injectors in this car. I should have done it before when I did the one, but I was being cheap and trying to get it done quick and just get the car running. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Chasing down a lean code Bank 1 in a 01 Mustang V6. All right, so we're going to listen. We're going to run this thing. We're going to listen for air leaks and spray some carb cleaner around just before I take it apart. So one thing you do with the stethoscope, you have this probe. Now you could set this on an injector, see if they're ticking or not. But if you pull this out and just, this is like a microphone. When the stethoscope's on your ears, you just hold this around different airlines and you will pick up the hissing, because the end of the hose is like a microphone. So you can put one of these on, take this probe off, and just tap this, and you'll see how loud it is in your ears. So this open tube is a very nice microphone. And then the carb cleaner, it's fairly common knowledge, but if the carb cleaner gets drawn into a leak, the idle will change, and you'll pinpoint that that's the area of the vacuum leak. I don't think there's actually vacuum leaks on this car, but I don't know. So we're going to do this first. Then we will take the upper plenum off to get to the injectors. All right, so we listened for air hissing. We didn't really find anything. I put this probe on, and I probed all 6 injectors, listening for the ticking. So the new one I put in is ticking, a little bit better than the others, louder. Like imagine tapping on a bench vise or something with a little metal hammer, like tick, 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 tick. Then I go to the other ones, and some of the ticking's quieter. So I suspect that replacing the injectors would be a good move. It's not a waste of money. Get them all ticking loud, like at the same volume level. That will balance out the, the air-fuel ratio. It's a process of elimination, and I'm just trying to narrow down this P0171 Lean Bank 1, I believe it was. So, like I said, I think if it was a vacuum leak, it would be lean across the whole system, Bank 1, Bank 2. I suspect one of the injectors isn't dumping enough fuel or squirting enough fuel in Bank 1. So we're going to pull that upper plenum off, replace the injectors, and see what we got. Hopefully a better idle, better throttle response, better 0 to 60 off the line deal. But yeah, just walking you along here in my troubleshooting process. And I said earlier, we already replaced both oxygen sensors and tuned it up. I had suspected it's fouling out plugs, leaking oil. But I bore scoped the one cylinder. I didn't see a lot of oil in there, so I don't know. I think it's probably just lean fouling, if that's even possible. The one plug, cylinder 3. But yeah, we are just trying to keep this thing running. It's got about 150,000 on it. I thought about pulling the engine out and overhauling it, but I said to the wife, if I do that, I don't know how long it'll be off the road. And we don't want the car sitting off the road. I'd rather just get another motor and swap it in because it's quicker. We'll get another motor, overhaul it, and then do a swap. That way the car's not off the road for any extended periods of time. But these are all just ideas at this point. Right now we're trying to figure out this lean code. Yeah. So we got the plenum ready to lift off. Just go down each side, look for the vacuum connections, unbolt everything. Once you get all the bolts out, it lifts right off. So if you think you have all the bolts out and it ain't moving, look for more bolts because there is another bolt somewhere. That's the easiest way I can tell you, but look, it's ready to come off. I think it took me, I want to say 25 minutes to get to this point. All right, we are this far. Injectors are unplugged. 8mm bolt, 8mm bolt. Same thing both sides. You lift the fuel rail up and sneak the injectors in. The injector, I don't know if you see, there's an injector right there. It's a plastic body with a connector. You can, what I'll do, I'll unbolt both sides and then lift up, and I'll pop 3 in this side and go to the other side, and then I'll bolt it back in. You could lift the whole fuel rail off, but I'm going to do one side at a time. I have a cloth over the intake holes because I don't want anything dropping down in the motor. That creates a nightmare. You drop a bolt down there. If you can't fish it out, it just makes the job a little bit more involved. Of course, we all know you start an engine up and then a bolt gets sucked into the valve train. It's going to cause damage. So, yeah, so far, actual wrench time, I'm probably coming up on an hour. I think I started pulling the intake 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes to get the intake off. All right, moving along. All right, another thing to consider, I got the bolts out. Fuel rail's loose, so there's fuel pressure in there, may be. So keep in mind, once I pop the seal loose, there may be a little bit of gas. Another thing I wanted to mention when you're in here, start looking around at your vacuum hoses. All right, so I just popped the whole fuel rail on this side. The injectors did not release. When I release the injector, there may be gas. Well, there's going to be gas in the fuel rail. I'm going to pop the other side, and I'll reach in underneath, pull each injector out. They're O-ring sealed. I'll pop the new ones up in and drop it down through. Now's also a time to clean stuff up. Maybe get a shop vac, vacuum all the dust and grit out. Maybe wipe your valve covers down. Do valve cover gaskets if you want. Now's the time. What else can you do at this point? You can do valve guide seals. Fords are pedestal rocker arm mount on this engine. You can fill the cylinder with air. Get a lever tool. You take the rocker arm, get a lever tool, release the valve spring, pull the keepers out. The air holds the valve in place. You can pop valve guide seals on. I should probably do that, but I won't. I think I have a whole gasket kit for this engine. I don't want to break into it unless I'm doing the whole engine. I do have a plenum gasket to put this back together, but right now we're just going after the injectors. I'm just trying to tell you what all you can do at this point on these engines. You You can do head gaskets on these in the cars. I used to do 3/8 head gaskets on the 94 to 98 body SN95. So that 3/8 had issues. Head gaskets, timing cover, and the T-Bird also. The 90s 3.8 had some head gasket issues, but you could work on it in the car. These newer 3/8 and eventually 3.9s are a little better than the early ones as far as the head gasket issues. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're gonna lift this fuel rail, plop the injectors in, start putting it back together. All right, so I just pulled the whole fuel rail and I'm in here on my box. I'm gonna swap these 6 injectors out quick. As you see, they are plastic bodied. Like I said, we had one fail already. I think it was this one. Here's the new one. Relatively newer than the rest. Let's see if we can see a difference. End's a little gunky on that one. Newer one's a little cleaner. Kind of see. You have to excuse my video skills here. I'm using my phone. But yeah, you can see the difference, I think, from the older one to the newer one. Let's get some light. All right, so we got some light. Let's see. There's some gunk there. That might be from pulling it apart, but that's the newer one. That's an older one. See, that one's kind of tan. The suspect one, I think, is that one. That's cylinder 3. I think what happens is the inside of them get gunked up. Like they don't tick or pump the way they should. But anyway, this is all just process of elimination. Chasing after a P0171 lean code. I'm going to go ahead and pop the new ones in. Let's take a look at a new one. Let's see. TR. Is it TR? It's like a wrench. TRU, TRC, TRQ. I think it's a TRQ, right? The little wrench head makes a Q. Got these offline through a popular Mustang parts supplier that I will not name. You know how that goes. Not affiliated. There's the new one. Nicely packaged. O-rings are well protected. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to wipe this fuel rail down. I'm going to pop the old ones out, pop 6 new ones in, probably vacuum up and clean up the top of the engine, and then drop this in and start going back together. So I got one installed. No lube or anything. The O-ring seems to go pop right in pretty good. See the little groove there, right here where my thumbnail is, there's a groove. We pop that in. Pop that in. Gently press. This stuff's plastic, so watch using tools on it. And then this clip, it's going to slip in that groove, and that edge goes around the little flange on the fuel rail. Something like so. See how that's going? And then I'll push that with my thumb. You might want to wear gloves. It's a little painful, but if you have calloused thumbs, it's no big deal. So there's one installed. And a view of that clip. Pretty much all there is to it. Take your time, get it right. Clean stuff up as you go, all that good stuff. So we're going back together here. So these little clips of the injector, if you're concerned, like they break off, like the little locking clips. You push them with your thumb to release it. Like this one here, I'm fishing a zip tie down through where the clip was. It ain't there no more. And I'm going to just zip tie it onto the fuel rail here. This is just to ensure it doesn't somehow come off while driving, because it will give you a dead miss, because the injector will stop firing. If it's your car and you're not worried about it, that's fine. Customer cars may not want to come back, you know what I mean? So the point of all this is these older cars with these plastic clips, sometimes the stuff breaks, isn't the end of the world. So I'm using zip ties here. The next guy who works on this will see it, possibly, and they'll know. Okay, I gotta cut that off. Or, the other thing you can do, you could put a dab of silicone on it and glue them on. But the next guy isn't gonna know that. He's gonna be yanking and yanking, like, why isn't this coming off? So yeah, you always wanna ensure going back together, you're not gonna have any future problems. And for all I know, maybe the zip ties will cause them to back off, and we'll find out. But yeah, I might be going a bit OCD here, going further than I have to. Like, I might have been able to stick them on and they'd stay, but who knows. But anyway, yeah, we got all 6 new injectors in. Got this side buttoned up. There's 4 bolts in the fuel rail on the brackets, and I got to hook the fuel line up. You could replace the fuel pressure regulator now. That's right here. It's a little electronic thing. I had the scan tool hooked up to this. The scan tool said the fuel pressure was good, so I'm assuming the regulator's good. But yeah, we are going back together. Maybe another hour or so we'll be running. All right, we'll see what we got here. The whole job took me about 3 hours, I think. Got a little loaded up with carb cleaner and all that, so it's blowing some smoke out the back. Something's a little off with it. Interesting. All right, so what I had was a massive vacuum leak. The back injector wasn't seated properly. I could hear the air hissing. When I came around, I started, the car got out. I cut the camera off, came around, I heard the air hiss. I sprayed some carb cleaner down here, found it real quick. What I did was I loosened the fuel rail, the 4 bolts, because they're kind of slotted. And then I'll go around with a rubber mallet and lightly tap the O-ring down in over each injector. Something I missed on the first time around. I'm probably going to develop that into a habit. But yeah, if the O-rings aren't seated, the injectors aren't seated down into the head. In this car, they go down into the head. You'll have a massive vacuum leak, which is what I had when I fired the car up. So we're going to go around, going to loosen up, lightly tap all 6 injectors, throw the plenum back on, and try again. Keep in mind, I took the plenum off in 10 minutes because I just put it back together. I knew where all the bolts were, so it's really quick to go back over this. But that's what happens when you're in a hurry. More to follow. We'll get this going. So there it is running. A little bit of a vibration there. It is idling smoother. Like, I got my knees on the bumper right now. I can't feel any vibration in the body of the car, but you can see the bottled water there danced a little bit. The engine was a lot more shakier than that. You used to be able to just look at the plenum and watch it rocking back and forth.
I won't know till I drive it for sure, but I think the injectors made a difference once I finally got them seated in properly. But yeah, we'll see how it goes when we drive it. So we're out cruising around in this, and I mean, it isn't like a big difference, but there's definitely a difference in how it runs. And the cruise ability, the lack of engine vibration. I suspect that the injectors improved it a bit. I'm gonna let the wife drive it. If the check engine light comes back on, I'll go from there. I had suspected maybe there was some like oil leaking in the one cylinder. The one plug would foul out. But I had read somewhere that if the injectors aren't working properly, the plug could load up too. I don't know how or why. We're gonna basically keep an eye on the possible oil leak situation. But right now the car's cruising nice, it's idling nice. If you have one of these cars and it runs rough, and people are telling you that's just how they run, consider the fuel injectors. They are, this car has 150,000 miles on it. They do go bad. Probably right around 100,000 miles, I would recommend replacing the injectors. You could try running cleaners and all that, but just the design of these injectors, they start acting up. And like I said, I had one go bad. It caused a dead miss. The car was running on 5 cylinders, wasn't getting gas in one cylinder. So in a 6-cylinder, when you're running on 5 cylinders, you can really tell it's running bad, you know. But I'm gonna release this to the customer, which is the wife, and we're gonna see how she likes it. See if the check engine light comes back on. I did have that issue where I didn't have the injectors fully seated there. I had to go back over it, tap them in, but now everything's fine. When you have the top of the engine off, like I was saying earlier, think about what you can do. You could do valve cover gaskets. Check that intake manifold runner. They have little plastic clips on the linkage that go bad. On this engine, those clips were still good. The plenum's easy enough to take off when you know where all the bolts are, like 10 minutes. And I had a 1/4-inch air ratchet. So just keep that in mind. Once you start working on these cars, you know where the bolts are. It goes quick. What else with this? I don't know. Like I said, I think it's running okay. 3.8, 2001 Mustang V6. For years, these cars were cheap. The wife found this with 85,000 miles on in 2018. She liked it. It was a used car lot. She went and made a deal. I think she got it for $5,500. At the time, with the low mileage, it was under 100,000. It was clean. This car's performance red. I don't know if you can see the hood there. This car's a 6-cylinder car, but it really stands out going down the street because of that loud paint. So she liked it. She picked it up, and I was telling her, I was like, we either fix this car up or we get another one. But if you look at newer, like say 05 and up Mustangs, which is like the 05 body style is nice. We like that. But a 6-cylinder with 100 and some thousand miles on it going for $7,000, $8,000, it's like ridiculous. $6,000, $8,000. Like, you really can't find a 6-cylinder newer Mustang anymore for $5,000. So we just decided to keep fixing this thing up. And that's the logic there. Until the prices come down. I mean, I can't keep them going forever. Then they become restorations. But yeah. Anyway, Mr. Swinger is going to sign out and park this car and move on to other things. All right, take it easy, folks.